Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. And today it's into the biggest of them all, Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. This is our play by email against the devilish Mr. Lodrick, and it is now March 17th, 1942. This is our setup phase, and of course, we had some crazy times during the combat resolution last time, so we'll go around and see where all of the silliness took place off of Suva and otherwise. We're also going to check out the stats as we always do, and so let's get going. You see all of the activity happening in and around Pearl Harbor here. Obviously this is the main American hub. It comes in, it goes out. You also have your carriers based here, at least at the start, but usually for quite some time thereafter. So, Pearl Harbor, we probably will come back and look at this over the next, two or three episodes. Come and check out Pearl Harbor, see how it's going there, see what we want to get shipped out of there, see what needs to get shipped in there. Okay, let's look at the stats. Last time, we ran 5,762 sorties. This I almost said the Soviets. That's when you've been playing War in the East too. No, the Japanese, the Axis ran 7,285. Air-to-air losses, we took 20. The Japanese took 10. There were quite a few air battles. They're over the skies of Suva as his carriers are on the hunt. On the hunt. Destroyed on the field, 0-0. Destroyed by flak, we had 4, he had 1. Now that's because we were out over his carriers, of course, which have a lot of anti-aircraft ability. Operational losses, we took 10, he took 10. So a lot of air losses this time. Political points, we now have 732. The Japanese score continues to climb, 17,014. We're at 7,612. We now control 439 bases, but the Japanese are up to 399. And so that big lead that we had at the start has been nibbled at, dabbled at, and now it's down to only 40 bases or so. Allied aircraft points lost, we've lost 1171, the Japanese 712. Here's where the big point differential is. The Army points lost, we've lost 7359. The Japanese 140. We've had 420 ships sunk at this point for 3,454 points. I guess that would be about a little over 8 points a ship that we've lost. So usually I'd like to see that down around 5 to 6 points a ship because you are going to lose cargo ships. You just are. And you want those to be 1 or 2 point cargo ships. Sometimes, if you lose some destroyers that are part of those cargo task forces, you can kind of shrug that off. It's just going to happen. But when it's 8 points, that's because we've lost things like a few turns ago, where we lost 120 points by losing 4 tankers, each worth 31 points plus other assorted vessels. Those kill you. Those just kill you. And so, it's inevitable it's going to happen here or there. It's happened a little too often in this game. Certainly. Japanese ship sunk. We know about 8 anyway for 44 points. There could be more. We just don't know. It's fog of war. All right, group reinforcement schedule in the air. You can see we get a lot of Kingfishers in on the west coast. Well, one at Pearl Harbor, 2 other squadrons in at Alameda. At Aden, we get some Catalinas. Well, that's always a good thing. The more Catalinas, the better, I say. And let's see, Hudson's and Boise, Texans and Buffalo. Now, these are interesting. These are Marine Corps planes. They're really trainers, though. They don't have a big max, only 12 and 12. They both come into San Diego. We will be training up pilots there. I think these are carrier capable. They are. So we can be training up pilots in San Diego with those aircraft. Some Wellingtons, some Mitchells. Those aren't a big deal. These Mitchells are kind of a big deal. They come in at Canberra. The B-25Cs, 18 of those. I can tell you that those can do some damage down the east coast of Australia, certainly if he gets a little too close to the coast. So those are good to have. A lot of transports here coming in at Aden, and of course we're going to immediately try to get those up to Lido and fly more supply into China. This is 75 aircraft total right there. Well, at least that's the max in the squadrons, 25, 25, 25. So that'll be nice. I mean, that'll allow us to fly a lot more freight, a lot more supply into China. Now, the other side of that coin is we've got to have that supply in India up at Ladeau to fly it over. So we'll have to go check that, make sure we're getting good supply up there. But those are kind of the highlights of what's coming in over the next 3 weeks or so as far as ships go. Let's do the old double sort. And there we go. And we'll go up to the top. What is fun here? Well, a lot of AKs, AMs, ACMs, the mine tenders. We get some KVs. The drum, the submarine, the drum. It's kind of light on ships coming up. You know, we just got the Hornet, so that was a big headliner. But other than that, you know, we get another tanker. Just looking down here, nothing too exciting. The Devonshire comes in at Cape Town in about a month. But other than that, nothing really stands out until we get to the Illustrious, which is another British carrier that will come in 42 days. That'll be something to look forward to. Ground reinforcement schedule. As always, everybody wants to Chungking tonight, and we get 12 Chinese Corps into Chungking in 6 days. Okay, I'd love to be seeing a lot more Chinese action here. We do get the 7th Marine Regiment in 2 days up in the East Coast. We'll immediately get that on the rails and get that moving down towards Los Angeles so we can put that Marine Regiment, which is attached to the Pacific Fleet, so it's not locked in any way, get that out into the South and Southwest Pacific. We need as many of those Marine regiments as we can get. We also get an 8th Marine Defense Battalion that automatically gets placed on Pago Pago. That comes in 15 days. 9th Marine Regiment, also Pacific Fleet. That's in 15 days. So over the next 2 weeks, we get 2 Marine regiments. We get a Marine Defense Battalion, all much appreciated from the game gods. Let's go look around the map. And nothing much happened up here that we really need to talk about, I don't think. We are now in the process of moving the Australians. Where are those Aussies? They're not up here yet, I don't think. No. They're on the train somewhere, or have I shipped them out from Madras yet? I have not. I have not. But we do now have that new division that can come over here. I think I've got that on strategic. The 20th Indian. Is that true? Let's look at this. What's the garrison at Bangalore? We only need 40 here. Well, it seems like a heck of a waste. And yeah, that's right. The fortress has 54. So we're going to take this. We're going to strategic move it. It's under Southern Command, and we're going to strategic move it down here to Madras. We'll also have it start planning for Madras, set future objective to Madras. And now that we know that we've got a whole division that's coming over there, I think what we're going to want to do is take these Australians and move them up the rails. I thought that I had done that, but maybe I'm just misremembering. So we'll put them as a strategic move and bring them all the way back up to Karachi, including this artillery, because of course we need as much as we can get. No reason to just leave some artillery behind. Um, city, just some random Australian artillery, left behind in India. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's carry it down to Australia. There's another artillery here at Calcutta. We'll put that on a strategic move it all the way up to Karachi. And then I think that there is one more. Where is that? Is that in V Town? It is. There it is. Strategic move, set the objective. Up to Karachi, we go with that. And we'll bring some transports down. We'll also need some cargo vessels in there. Um, once those cargo vessels and transports get here, because we'll need the cargo vessels to carry a lot of that artillery. The artillery is very heavy, and so we're going to need to carry, that in cargo, and then we'll take that down to Australia. Grab a drink really fast, be right. All right, so we have the Australians heading back to, you guessed it, Australia. We're going to send them up to Karachi, and bring those transports down, cargo there, and we'll get that 6th Australian Division there. Let's go over and look at what's happening around Burma. There is Rangoon, and you can see here Lodrick has a few ships just off of Rangoon doing that kind of raiding of the ports, and you can see he did that here at Port Blair. He loves to do that where he comes in. Now, how do you defend against that? Well, you lay mines, right? And we just don't have a lot of mine layers over on the Indian Ocean side. We do have some at Cape Town, but it's a little late for that now. Any of those mine layers in some sense are going to go out there and probably get destroyed if they head into these ports. So early on, take the mine layers you have, go to places like Port Blair, Rangoon, up and down the coast here, Colombo, Trincomalee, places that the Japanese player may land and lay mines because that's really the only way to defend against this. There's no way you have a surface fleet that's going to be able to match up. I mean, maybe we could if we knew what he was sending out here, right? Like light cruisers. Well, we could probably take that on, but he may have carriers right here, right? So you can't just go mano a mano there and take him on. So it's really mines. That's the way to defend against it. I know somebody had mentioned that in the comments before, the mine layers. Well, yeah, that's got to be done very, very early. Over in China, what is happening? We've talked a lot about China recently, of course. Guilin, Changsha, those are the important places here to the south and where we're trying to hold. He has got a big army here at Wu Chao, although in Canton, you have to imagine he's probably got 100,000 men. So eventually he's going to ball that up into a big super army, as he likes to do, and we're going to have to try to defend against it, get around behind him, cut his supply lines, etc. Hengyang, Changsha, okay, he hasn't really pressured here. A lot of Japanese players will because it's kind of a big prize that's the furthest east. Um, but he just hasn't come that way yet. Well, we do have these units that are trying to get out, and they've almost made it finally. So we've only got this one stack that's down in southeastern China. He's been pretty content just to bombard them so far. We'll see if that continues. Aichang, that's where we had the majority of our forces. It's centrally located. They could then move south or they can move north, either one. We've got the Loyang stack that's trying to get out up here. Can we do it? Well, I don't know. I don't know if we can. I've been trying for a very long time to get these units out. You can see he's now blocked us again here, and we'll have to come back south and try to finally get this 3,000 av force out of here. You can see it's a massive force. 50, it's showing 53,000 men, but this is also part of it. This is more men here. So altogether, I think we have like 100,000 men there. Here's the two groups that are out by Yan'an, one heading west, one heading east. We did have a battle here. I was kind of hoping actually he would push us into the next hex. Sometimes it's the fastest way to move out here in China is to get defeated in a battle and retreat, but that did not happen. I've got a lot of stuff coming up this road. It's going through Kianko here and eventually up towards Kungchang, Lanchao. You can see he's starting to make his move on Lanchao, and Lanchao's worth 300 points. Cyan also, or I'm sorry, Signing also worth 300 points. So a lot of points available right here. I'm sure he'll be bringing a super army that way. We've almost lost all of Mindanao now. Again, he's still sitting here in Cagayan. We have a few odds and end bases that he just hasn't taken yet. It's only a matter of time. Down in Java, he's now landed here at Merak. Now he's on both sides of Batavia. He's already taken Surabaya. He'll eventually take all of these bases. We've held him off at Tajilajap for a while, but Batavia is the big one. He's also sitting just outside Palembang. We don't have a massive force at Palembang, really. If we go here and look, we've got 193 av. That's never going to hold Palembang. I did not do Fortress Palembang in this game. I find it gamey, so I don't generally do it. Maybe I should have against Lodric because we may need a little gaminess here. Down to Australia, we've got a lot coming in and out of Perth. Of course, I also have some things running down to Albany and Esperance, Darwin. Okay, he's already taken the islands north of Darwin, so it'll be a matter of time, and I would imagine he's going to try to land here, if nothing else, just to say he did, right? I mean, it's not like Darwin's worth a ridiculous amount of points. It's 110 though. It's, it's something, but it's not as worth as much, I think, as you would think it would be, maybe, because he is landing in Australia. Along the eastern coast of Australia, just continuing to build with American and Australian troops in Cookton, Cairns, Townsville, Bowen, Rockhampton, all of these places. I'm bringing some Australian, some American troops. It just depends. I like to make the American troops all find their divisions and put them back together into divisions. So I like to do that. And that's what I'm trying to do. The Americala division's over here, the 40th division. I've got most of that over here into Australia. It'd be very difficult for him to land out here, but he's done other very difficult things in this game so far. So I wouldn't put it past him. Let's put it that way. New Zealand, I want to take a whole episode and talk about New Zealand at some point. You can see all of the shipping I have coming into Auckland. Now, sometimes I will put my carriers eventually in Auckland because you can build that into a level 7 port. They can rearm at the fastest level. We're building on the port right now. We're 66% towards the level 7, so that'll be a level 7 before you know it. So you can bring a lot of fuel in here and you can run your carriers out of here. Speaking of carriers, there they are. That is his big carrier task force, or one of them, and he has moved beyond Suva here. Now, last time, wow, there was a lot of interesting battles. You can see we still have these ships here. The Mori got hit. It's got 89 float damage. I don't think it's going to make it if it tries to get all the way back at Suva. Do we have a port level here? We do. Let's just try to get it to the closest port possible and auto disband it there. Now, there's no real way for it to repair here, but at least it won't sink, right? And then we can figure something else out eventually. But right now, it's got float damage. Did it have fire damage? No, or it's not currently on fire, but it's only got 89 float damage. That may go down before it even gets here to Ua. Suva, we took a little bit of a beating with our Airacobras out here, but they held on. I mean, we only took a little bit of damage. Now you can see the airfield went down to a 5, right? It was a 7. It went down to a 5 because we took some airfield service damage, 13, runway damage, 18. That's pretty big, right? But we do have forces out here, including these, well, these are naval engineers, but they do have some aviation support. The main thing is we need engineers, right? Let's see if we've got engineers here. We've got 7 engineers and 4 engineer vehicles. If we just look at Suva, it'll tell us over here. All told, we have 28 engineers and 9 vehicles. So they will immediately get going on that airfield. Even though it says expanding, they will repair the airfield before they'll try to expand it, right? They go to the damage first. So with 28 engineers, we should be able to build that right back up, assuming he doesn't just hit it over and over. We got to look out now. He's going to be coming right by Nomaya. We've only got these 17 Warhawks here. So I think what I'll do, if we look here, it'll tell you it's moving west. Okay, so he's moving this way. We probably want to take some planes, transfer them over, right? So we've got 4 Airacobras there. Well, that's not great because we've got 13 damage. We've got 3 and 8 damage there, and we've got 4. Wow, that's not great. Maybe we need to go over to Brisbane and see if we can fly some things over to Nomaya. We've only got the Kitty Hawks there. So I guess I'm going to have to take this group of 4, 3, 4, one of these 4 groups, put the drop tanks on, and transfer over to Nomaya, such as put them over there, and then always make sure then you go back over there to that unit, make sure you're on it, there it is, and take the drop tanks off, right? And then make sure your cap and your altitude and your range is set. So this was the big action last time. We took a little damage, but all in all, it was really losing those damn tankers. That cost a lot of points, and that's why he's doing those raids. That really hurt. from a point perspective, but it really didn't hurt us that badly at Suva. I mean, we got a little runway damage, but that's all. He's now probably going to try to damage the runway at Nomaya. Okay. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. Uh, Out here at Luganville and Afate, we now have our troops here. We also have this ship that is unloading. What's still on here? It's only supply. So let's cancel that unload. Even though I want the supply on there, there are no more troops here. We've dropped off the troops. Uh, and so now it's just unloading supply. Well, his carriers are going to be coming right by us, right? So let's get the hell out of here. Maybe we'll just back off over to here, come this way. And as a matter of fact, we may want to do it with waypoints. So let's take use waypoints there, set waypoint 1, and let's go up this way first and around. That way if he's coming this way with the carriers, if we go straight this way, it's possible on that first movement that he sends, planes out here. But I believe if we kind of go north first and up and around, maybe we can get out of there. So there's that. Um, Now we can get everything moving west again. It looks like his carriers are going to be vacating the zone, if you will. So we'll get everything moving west out here. We've got things coming around the corner. We'll talk more about those when I go over the entire map. That's coming up here in a few turns. All kinds of stuff at Pearl Harbor on the west coast. But I think I'm going to save most of that. This is just, I'm going to be doing these as kind of big grand overviews, and then like I said, every 2 or 3 weeks game time, I will stop and do a full recointer of the board, and so that will be coming up soon. So anyway, this has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. We're hanging in there. Lodric's pushing us to the limit, but we're hanging in there. This has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.